All right. Hello, Internet. Can you hear me? Someone say something if you can hear me. Oh man, this is gonna suck since I can't see the chat so much. I can kind of see the chat. Hold on, I'm gonna try to fix this problem. One second, y'all.
Oh, it's still PT comment?
No, it's not. Oh, crap. Hold on. I didn't change the, check this out. Watch how the code is going to change from what it is now to something new. As soon as I click that, and then I click that, and then I click that, and now everyone knows what their code is. Hoff can hear you, we can hear you, everyone can hear me. Okay, that's fantastic. Oh, okay, here. Also, check it out. I'm gonna get the chat open so it's much easier for me to read as well. Sorry, y'all. What if I just totally read the email address and password out loud so all of you could log in to our Restream account? How silly of me would that be, right? Oh my God. All right, let me verify which squares have cars in them so I can open the chat. The internet's gone too far. Why do I need to do machine learning for machines? It's not fair. Steve, can you say something in chat so I can see if it's working? Steve says, hi, Kyle. Okay, bitchin', I can see the chat. Oh, hold on. I got to get my chair, too. What's up, Internet? Decided to not sit on that holding screen for very long because we're here to talk and chit-chat and do all of the above, right? How's it going, everybody? How's it going, Steve?
Today's a great day.
Steve says it's a great day. I tend to agree with him. It's pretty hot here. It's actually really gross. It's not gross, actually. I think I would reserve the term gross for when it's humid. It's just like it's extraordinarily hot, the dry heat, with just a tinge of humidity. Otherwise, yeah, we're excited here to work on some Baywatch. We'll let some people filter in before we start doing anything of substance, but yeah. Man, lots of cool stuff going on in the pinball universe right now. I watched a bit of Jack Danger and Rick Nagel and Keith Elwin playing Godzilla last night. But actually, that's not true because it was mostly just Keith Elwin playing Godzilla last night because he just can't lose. That was pretty cool. All these cool code updates Stern's putting out. Looks like they busted out some new stuff for Insider, so almost every single game gets a update. And then there are a few major code milestones for some games. Looks like Godzilla and Rush have some wizard modes. Pretty cool, huh? And then the 10 billion pound elephant in the room, the James Bond, the true reveal, because leakers are soulless bad humans, and we should be waiting for official releases to make judgment, and the game looks really cool. Tying into what Steve says in the chat, what's my favorite art package for James Bond 007? Goodness. I think the Dr. No Pro edition is very striking. I love that yellow. That's super cool. You know, when you think about it, like modern pinball art packages are really beautiful, but they're not very colorful. They're all black and blue and dark, and then you see this game, it's like, wow, holy crap, that's yellow. It kind of brings it kind of makes it seem even more classic in the sense, like I'm staring at Strikes and Spares right now, and that game's all yellow and red, you know? Viking is yellow and red, and Jungle Lord is blue and yellow and red. They're very striking, bright colors, and yeah. Rocket Dong Jokes. Hey, man. I don't know how inappropriate I can get. I'd like to continue riffing and making innuendo off of this, but I'm not gonna. But some of it's kind of cool. I'm excited to see how that mech works. It's a fun tie-in with a neat bit of, James Bond lore and storytelling. I'm very excited to get my hands on this game. Hopefully I'll get to play it soon. A giant... Oh man, I was on Reddit the other day and someone made that joke, Steve, and someone did it perfectly, just like it's an airplane joke, right?
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, yeah, that's what it was. That's probably the only part of Austin Powers I thought was funny. But maybe I'm a loser. Actually, I know I am, but that was really good. Yeah, James Bond looks cool. I'm really, honestly, super glad that it is a... Look, people could sit there and argue until they're blue in the face about which James Bond deserves to be the main character of a pinball game. I don't think anyone could argue and say that the Sean Connery era of James Bond was the bad choice. It's incredible. It makes everyone happy. No one dislikes the Sean Connery movies. The premium game, I think, was it's Thunderball, right, Steve? Do you remember?
Thunderball. No,
Yeah.
it's, Thunderbolt's, yeah.
Thunderball themed.
I can't remember.
I think I haven't. I'm going to watch the rerun of the press conference tonight to double check. But there's a lot of neat art packages. I'm glad that they're all different. I will be honest. I kind of was hoping that one of the games would maybe have. You know what? Maybe it's a little too on the nose or cliche or exactly what everyone was thinking. But it would be really cool to have a cabinet artwork of. The rifled barrel of a gun with the concentric, black and white circles with James Bond in the center or something like that. That would have been really neat.
Thunderball's the LE.
Oh, okay. Thunderball's the LE.
You only live twice.
You only live twice is the premium. In the
No.
the artwork on the side of the premium, is that plastered with all sorts of different movie posters, or is it just You Only Live Twice?
It looks like it's just you only live twice.
That's super cool. That's super cool. Yeah, I'm sure you were really hoping for George Lazenby to be the focused James Bond. I totally believe you. Now, wait, well, he was in the, what was the San Francisco one? It's not, Diamonds Are Forever was a much newer James Bond. That was a Pierce Brosnan one. Which one was the one that was in San Francisco? Wasn't that the one with the Duran Duran soundtrack, or theme song?
View to a Kill. That's Pierce Brosnan.
No, View to a Kill was old.
No.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. We gotta look this one up. I think View to a Kill was an 80s one because
There's more.
it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one had the Aston Martin Lagonda, I believe, as the perhaps as the Bond car. A very strange choice, but anywho, yeah, super cool. They're gorgeous. I'm excited to play all of them. I definitely think it's funny that you've got James Bond on a jetpack as a ball-carrying device. I think that's really cute and funny, and I'm excited to see it in action. When we had, it was funny thinking about it. It made me feel. It was funny to see screenshots of our show all over Pinside and on some of the other pinball newsy websites and stuff, to see that screenshot of George quickly whipping a toy and then putting it away. And but it's it looked like a diver. It totally was a diver. And I was like, but man, I didn't see that on any of the leaked photos. I wonder what. But now in the promo videos, they actually have the fight sequence of diver versus other diver guy underneath the flipper on the left. It's so neat. It's going to be so cool to see. I'm very excited to play that game. Such a killer license, and it looks like another really great game. So also, speaking of which, I'll probably blurt this out again at some point, but we are accepting orders. If you want to order a game from Marco Pinball, if you have ordered games from Marco Pinball, we are accepting orders for them now. So you can email us. Is it game sales or game sale?
Just have email game sales. Yeah.
Is it game sales at Marco?
They both go to the same place.
Okay, so you can email us at gamesales@marcopinball.com. if you want to jump in. All the LEs are already sold out because those sold out before anyone knew what the game was. I don't understand why people do that, but good for them. But yeah, we should have some, they're saying in about 5 to 6 weeks. Generally, that's the production cycle from Stern releasing to when they ship. They are giving priority for people that have commercial locations. So if you're an operator and you wanted to put the game in the wild for people to enjoy, they are dealers are prioritizing those sales before home sales. So yeah, if you're an operator and want to buy one from us, do that. Do all of our emails, like if someone emailed smajette@marcopinball.com, it would come to you still, right?
Yeah, everything's A-list.
Yeah, I mean, I like Marco Specialties. Steve and I have had conversations about it, and his opinion's better, but it was always so hard to give out your email address before we did the Marco Pinball. It's like marcospec.com. Like, what? MARCOSPEC.com. And now I'm glad that we have an easier one to say. Anyways, this is boring. What am I talking about? Yeah, so about 6 weeks. Hopefully we'll see them soon. We'll probably get to play them at Expo. I am going to Expo, so hopefully I will get my hands on one. And if not, I might kiss some babies and make donations so I could go to Stern and play one. But I'm really looking forward to it. Kyle discount. I'm not that.
Box for free if you mention Kyle.
One free box. Absolutely. Anywho, yeah, we've kind of talked a little bit. Yeah, Emoto's not here. I'm sure that's why we're going to get like half the normal viewership, because I know everyone wants to see Emoto. But Emoto's actually busy filming her movie. They're filming their movie this weekend, and that's super cool. So I graciously gave her the day off because she deserves it. No, I'm just kidding. She just told me she wasn't going to be here today. But yeah, we're going to do some Baywatching. Hopefully, we will be able to get a decent amount done. I don't have all the parts I needed, and we have a couple decisions to make that I wanted to get opinions on. Yeah, that's the movie, Skillshot Baby. You are a kind god. No, I'm just a nerd. What's up, Colin? Friend of the show, Colin Baxter, here in the chat. Yeah, Baywatch. Let me change cameras. Let's take a look at some things. I'm thinking that I need your guys' opinion, and I'd like to take a poll of sorts. I was thinking about using super bands on this game, just because we don't use them very often on the show. Let's do this. And that, whoa, look how broken that is. Hold on. Is that the camera I want? Why does it suck? Hold on, y'all. I think that we did something goofy with this camera because we were trying to film LEDs with it, so like the white balance and stuff is all goofy. Uh-oh, now the resolution's all funny. Look at me breaking the screen. Hold on. So, yeah, I think I want to use some, super bands. I think originally I was going to use super bands only on some of the harder to reach rubber areas and stuff. Just because it's a superior product, but I just like the way that natural rubber plays. Most of my games are that way, except for 1 or 2. But I was thinking we could do super bands on this game. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of color matching things, but I also wouldn't want to just like put white super bands on. Maybe it would be fun to use red rings to kind of match the official Baywatch uniform. I think blue is a little too on the nose. If not, I think my original idea was going to be probably putting black, like 5/16 rings on top of, we're going to replace the Data East ring saver rubbers, the fat round ones that go over the posts. And I was thinking about maybe just putting super bands on these upper guys here, so I will never need to change them again. But then I kind of started looking, it's like, man, the rubber bill for this game is actually really small. That's kind of a funny thing you notice with pinball as time progresses.
to make games more operator and maintenance friendly, the amount of rubbers that went into games just reduced dramatically. So we've got some 5/16 rubbers up here. We've got like 1 2-inch band here, another 1.5-inch band here, another 1.5-inch band where the drop targets, 2 2.5ers for the slingshots under the camera. And then it's just a big assortment of post sleeves and 5/16 rings. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, Nightbot's screwed up. Do they break easily? Superbands, no. Superbands are almost indestructible. Not always, but they definitely last a long time. So it's like, that's the thing that I was thinking against superbands is man, there's really not even that many rubbers. Maybe it's not even worth, throwing that color on there. But then again, a lot of this is buried under ramp. So if I put a couple silly red bands around here, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing. I don't know. You guys let me know. We'll think about it. Maybe we'll try to do that next week. Try to get the rubbers on. I was thinking today, I goofed up and I forgot to order the correct amount of targets, and I neglected to bring target foam. But the immediate things I see that we need to do on this game, aside from a little bit of polishing and re-rubbering, is, well, first it needs to come apart. We need to clean it. It's dirty. I need to lay down a nice coat of wax. I'm going to replace all of these stand-up targets. There's 5 yellow stand-ups here. I want to replace them all because they are, they just don't look bright anymore. The yellow has kind of faded and gotten funny looking. The ones that flank the ramp entrances, you'll notice a lot of the targets that rank, these ones aren't that bad, to be honest, but targets that flank ramp entrances will turn into a C shape on the side. So instead of being 4 90-degree corners, they get eaten up because you'll skid it off the side and have it hit a ramp, and they just get misshapen. But these ones are just because they're ugly. So I want to replace all 5 of them. And I've got 4. I forgot there was 5 targets on this game. So when I placed my order, I only took 4. These targets here we will leave because these get decals on them. Anywho, that's not going to bother me too much. We've got to replace these drop targets. I want to inspect the pop bumper skirts when we get there. These don't look too bad. They're actually still quite round. And another neat thing about these Data East units is that you can actually remove these from the playfield quite easily, unlike on a Bally or a Williams game where they all kind of need to come apart from the top and the bottom. But generally at this stage of a game, I would be replacing the skirts. But these ones aren't very chewed up, and they don't feel super brittle. So even though it's only a 70-cent part, we might not be doing those. So minimal part replacement, really. I do have some new flippers to put on this game, so we will get some nice bright flippers here. This original pink flipper is unobtainium, so we will just cross our fingers and pray to the pinball gods that never breaks. And same thing with the shark flipper. So we will double cross our fingers and hope that it never breaks. So I think today we'll just be doing some disassembly and some cleaning while maybe I answer some questions in between. We're going to be putting some warm white, beautiful Comet LEDs underneath these plastics. And oh, there's another thing. Super sweet fluorescent orange posts. That's what this game is supposed to use. So we will be putting those back in the places where they need to go. Does that make sense? How do you not order the right amount of targets when you are at a pinball parts store? Because I was not being paid to do that, and I was rushing, and I created more work for myself, so never rush. Are you going to put stickers on all the targets? Yes, the ones that require stickers will be getting their decals. Dang. Thanks for subbing to us for so many times. Andrew, you're the best. Let me go back to the main screen so y'all aren't staring at all sorts of stuff. Wait, let me also do this. If I turn that one off, no, it's the wrong camera. Oh, that's the right camera, but the screen is much too small. We'll do that, and then the top right view, we'll turn that camera on.
And that's totally wrong. Emoto really likes to screw with things. How do you resize the actual frame? Is it Alt and then drag? Watch me break the stream as I'm trying to do this. All right, cool. Well, we can't use that side, so that one's just going to be that. Okay, whatever. The posts are gorgeous, aren't they cool? The playfield, all right, bye Colin, get out of here. Playfield looks great. Yeah, it is pretty good. There's a couple spots. There's only one spot of like real damage, but again, I don't care. There's a gouge right here underneath Mr. Shark Flipper, but that's something that we can all live with because this is not to win beauty contests. It is to help us enjoy the love of pinball by playing this game. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to kind of start going to town. We'll start stripping some things. I need to find my Novus. Here it is. Ugh. I also need to find a rag that is suitable for Novusing. I think I left it over here by Surf Champ, which hopefully the customer will finally come pick up next week so I can get paid. And he's going to bring me an Elvira and the Party Monsters. So we'll have another fun game to work on. I don't know where my towel is, so now I get to walk all over the place. Oh, I found one. That works too. Look at that. It's white, yellow. Just like most of the Baywatch playfield. Yeah, isn't that crazy that this is a one-piece flipper? It's going to be awfully sad if it ever does break. I think what we need to do is if this ever did break, I would try to have someone model the shark fin and then try to 3D print it. No. Yeah, you totally could 3D print it. You'd have to mount like a gray shark fin on top of a white flipper, but that's better than having no shark flipper. So, anywho, why did I leave this ramp on? It was either because it's a pain in the butt, or I just didn't find it worth it to take it off when we were taking things off. Maybe it was a time thing. It really doesn't need to come off. I can do almost all the work without removing this ramp, so maybe I'll save myself a little bit of time, but I'm going to start yanking some plastics off, and then we'll start cleaning. Since I won't be looking at the screen, Steve, can I ask you to perhaps read me some questions that come through? Famicom.
Says, actually, if you find the right element, you can print a break.
There you go. Hey.
Or like Pinball 777 just rated us with Party 6.
Whoa.
This is so.
Sup, man? I heard you're blowing up Rush. That's super cool, dude. You're playing a game for like 3 hours? Thanks for the raid. How's that going, everybody? Did you get to meet Cliff when you went to Pennsylvania, Steve? In Allentown?
Yes. Yes, I did. He came by the booth.
Yeah, because he's super cool.
He is cool.
There needs to be more punk metalhead rocker dudes into pinball. Come on. Only 7 billion. Okay, yeah. That's unexcusably low, my man. All right. These plastics are actually in also pretty good shape here. I like to keep original parts almost as much as I possibly can. There's nothing wrong with reproduction parts. I mean, that's the business that we are in. But I definitely find, to me, it's fun to keep as much originality as I can, to an extent. I wouldn't keep blown out old plastics just because they were original, but. Got your insider connected code on your wallet? Heck yeah. Oh, yes. So Cliff has when I was there, he had a party at his house, one of the nights of PinFest. Okay. But if we ever go to Allentown together, we will go together. If not, you got to go. He's super cool. Him and his wife have this beautiful, gigantic basset hound that is so sweet. He's even got a little tankard for his, for rescuing people in the.
Martinis?
To bring martinis, yes. I think that's exactly what the Swiss had in mind, huh?
Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard. What did I say?
You said like something else in there.
I'm sorry. Basset, sorry. I'm bad with dogs. Saint Bernard, Basset Hound, Saint Bernard. He's a sorry. That's confusing a lot of people. Like,
Yeah,
why would you give?
A basset hound with a little barrel around his neck. And I was like, that's funny, but.
But that guy seems crazy. A beautiful Saint Bernard, gigantic dog, probably weighs as much as I do. He's super, super sweet. Giant dogs. Here, y'all want to learn something about Kyle? I kind of have like a slight phobia of dogs, especially big dogs. But that dog was super sweet. Zero scarediness. Oh, okay, let me move it. This is the problem without having a moto. What camera are we using? Oh God, this is terrible. Let me switch. Center view. We're gonna do that camera. Oh man, that one sucks too. I think since we were also filming with the lights off.
Use the camera on the playfield and turn it towards what you're doing.
Oh, let me fix this one too. Focus and exposure. These are both set, I think, for doing the LED episode. And then the top right, I couldn't use the Sony because Emoto screwed it up. Perfect. Yeah, I need a tankard of liquor. I need some something tasty to warm me up on this 100 and something degree day we're having. The goal today, again, is just to kind of expose everything. We will be removing all of the rubbers. I want to be cleaning. Definitely, I think next week we will be streaming Baywatch again. Suddenly there's like an influx of people that want to be on this show and be interviewed, which is kind of funny. And I want to do that, and I like that. But I also want to work on games. So there's find a balancing act there. That one can kind of live there. I don't want to bend and screw up the control gate. As I go, I'm going to be removing all of these incandescent bulbs. Since they are still good, I'm putting them in my good pile to be reused on something else one day. I do not waste anything. Yes, the code is the Hoff. PT-the Hoff. I don't know if we've used that one already or if Emoto just like thought it was hilarious and wanted to make it that the code, and I appreciate that 100%. Goodbye, incandescent bulbs. Yeah, I wonder if I have a feeling that like someone was mentioning that the other day. I don't remember where or what the conversation stemmed from, but someone was like, man, it's like, isn't the production of incandescent bulbs going to become not like outlawed per se, but like, you know, the sale is supposed to be banned. And I was wondering, and I need to look that up because I'm wondering if that like counts for like these miniature bulbs. You know, it makes sense for, of course, for like house bulbs. There's no reason to use incandescent bulbs inside your house anymore. But for small devices like this, I can't see these being like on the radar of whatever regulatory agency that said no more incandescent bulbs. But who knows? Who knows? Oop, I'm throwing things across the playfield. This game's kind of easy to take apart too. It's a little complicated because it's so stacked, but it's coming apart easy, I guess is what I should have said. Does this have bumps? Yeah, it does. Get this thing out and rest it in its service position here. Oh, okay, to balance the camera somewhere. Why do you keep referring to it as debris? It's all beautiful. Andrew, APB Enterprises has been sending me buckets of goodies. That's what I'm going to call them, not debris. Some of it's debris, but that's just for you know, if someone sends you a care package with pinball parts and there just so happens to be a few old crusty rubbers in there, that's still not debris. That's those are treasures. All right. These are super NLA, right, Steve? These fluorescent pop bumper caps?
Yes.
Yeah.
That color doesn't exist anymore.
It kind of does with those, like we can get the posts in a very similar color, but
Right.
I guess like,
The post you can buy, you know, a few thousand of.
yeah,
The caps.
you need to buy a few thousand of these caps, but there's not enough people.
Never gonna sell.
Yeah. So these are very valuable in their own right, so I'm going to take good care of those. So this game I believe was used to prototype like decals and stuff like that. So this game's actually missing a lot of decals. We will need to purchase the decal set for this game to put the decals back in. I'm going to remove these. I don't know if these are GI or not. Let's see. Yeah, they're GI. These are just hard to get to because they're under ramps, but these are burnt out bulbs. We'll be replacing those with some LEDs as well. That one's good. These ones will go to the garbage, or just a pile that will eventually go to the garbage. Okay. All right, I'll start. That one needs to come off. That one's slightly cracked. This game's clean enough where I don't really need to take every single plastic off unless it's really necessary, right? Like there's nothing underneath this plastic here where the pink flipper is. It's super clean. It's still very white. There's no light bulbs. There's no rubber. This doesn't need to come off. I can wipe it clean from the top, give myself a thumbs up. That is kind of how I'm going about this disassembly. Look, there's a... If you're someone who gets like a ton of satisfaction from touching everything on every pinball machine that you work on, that's good. I don't get that satisfaction, so I'm going to save myself valuable limited seconds of my life by not touching those things, since they're so nice already. Interesting. Look at this piece. That was a, oh crap, we need to change something and mount something in a goofy way. So let's make this interesting piece of sheet metal with a hole for a hex post. I will leave this in here right now like this. Is this rubber crumbly? Yeah, it's pretty bad. I was going to say, generally you want to take all the rubber out before you clean a game, especially when it's in this sort of condition. I wonder if I can get a camera to focus on it, but can you see that thing like cracking? It looks totally normal. And then when you stress it out a little bit, it gets like a bunch of teeny little holes in it. It might not be in total focus, but I mean, that's a rubber that's starting to go. The weird thing with black rubber is it still stays kind of supple and nice, even though it starts to fall apart like it is, like the one I was just holding in my hand. When the rubber starts to look like that, it doesn't look bad from far away. You'd have to get really close to see it starting to be degrady and nasty, but when it starts to get like that, that's when it starts to really spit out a ton of dirt. I personally don't like using black rubbers on any of my games if I am re-rubbering a game, even if it was original, just because it makes things dirtier. Even when they're not degraded, they tend to carry more dirt. I just don't like it. That being said, black rubbers, I do use them sometimes in spots where like I kind of want to deaden a blow or something like that. Black rubbers are definitely not bouncy like, whew, that just cracked into a million pieces. Black rubbers, what is it, Steve? Is a higher durometer less bouncy or more bouncy? Do you know? There's a way you measure.
I used to know.
Yeah, there's a way you measure rubber's bounciness, and it's a scale called durometer. And I don't remember if higher is bouncier or if lower is bouncier.
Durometer is like durability.
Oh, it is?
So I would imagine that
Higher means stronger, which means less deader. Yeah. So a higher durometer maybe means it's a little tougher, which means it won't give as much, which means you won't get as much bounce. So in some places, if you want less bounce, I have put black rubbers in those spots.
the larger the durometer, the less the bounce.
Okay, larger the durometer, less the bounce. You can all remember that, right?
Hey, Pinball Rob.
Pinball Rob. It is definitely better to be late than never. Thank you for joining us on this fine Thursday as I pick apart these really crusty post rubbers. Oh, God. This stuff is definitely from 1995. I don't recommend to re-rubber games before you clean them, but I definitely would recommend to remove a lot of the rubber before you clean a game, just because they will start to, they will chip. Oh, man, this game's gross, actually. I need to, well, not gross, it's just there's a lot of dirt inside. I'm going to need to bust out the vacuum. There's a lot of dirt in the back of the playfield as well. I was thinking I might just be able to sop it up with a wet rag, but I might bust the vacuum out. Yeah, it looks gross. No, it's actually quite nice. Don't insult Baywatch. No, I like a dirty pinball game. A dirty pinball game is a game that's been loved and played, and that's what we need more of.
Tater Salad says the last time he shopped at Baywatch, or they shopped at Baywatch, they had to take all those posts out and smash the rubber with pliers to get it off.
Yeah, wow.
It completely petrified to the plastic.
Yeah, I'm glad that these aren't petrified to my plastic posts. Some of them are a little worse for wear, but I'll evaluate them one by one. They're just a little cosmetically worse for wear. But yeah, this stuff is coming off in chips. These rubber bumpers that I'm messing with are these guys in a past life. These squishy rubber bumpers. This was one of Data East's kind of like little innovations and ways to become a little more unique in a crowded field, was to offer ideas of less maintenance to operators. Less maintenance to operators, such as kind of pioneering the solid state flipper, right? No more burnt out coils, no more maintenance required by going to file or clean end of stroke switches. And these were kind of an idea to, and they work. These sit on posts underneath rubbers. And what they do is if you think about it, right, the rubber is the most protruding part on a post. And the ball hits it, that puts a lot of stress on that protruding part, and it compresses it a lot, and that's what will start to weaken and break down the rubber. But if you had something that was essentially the same thickness as that rubber, even though the ball will hit it at one solid contact point, having something there to also take the brunt of that force means a little bit less compression on a rubber ring, which also means they'll last longer. Now, when these things would start to get old and break, no one would put them back on because operators are cheap and lazy. And you'll see a ton of Data East games missing these things, but a lot of Data East games will. If you look in your manual, it should tell you if it used one of those things from the get-go. And I definitely recommend them when you're shopping out games. I think another thing is they were unavailable, or they were unobtainium for a really long time, and now they're not. So there's no reason to not put them on your game. Oof, but yeah, these ones are ancient, and they are thankfully not petrified to the post like Tater Salad said, but they are definitely snapping off these things. It's gross. It's so weird what rubber does as it ages. I've never seen them snap like this. I've taken a lot of games apart, and I've never seen them this crunchy. Oh man. I wish I could go to the VFW show. I want to
We got no PTO, bro.
next year. Oh, I don't have enough money to fly.
Most of October.
That's right. October is my month off. Yeah, I will be going to Expo. So, hey, DeWisp, happy Thursday. Yeah, if anyone's going to Expo, we should play a game of pinball. It's going to be fun because I don't have to do any work, and all I have to do is play pinball and pretend or hope no one recognizes me or knows me, so I can just play pinball all weekend. But if you do recognize me, I would love to talk.
Thanks, Pinball Wiz 45B. Pinball Wiz Arbo.
Pinball Wiz 45B, yeah, that's what it is.
Thanks for rating with Party 12.
Thank you. Oh man, I can't see the raid notifications on my part of the chat here, but thank you. Welcome to our channel where we are picking crispy rubbers off of a Baywatch. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. The VFW show is incredible. If you don't know, Clay Harrell is a longtime pinball. Basically, dude knows more than I'll ever know. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know. But he's a longtime repair person and a pinball historian. And he has a collection in Ann Arbor that is rivaled by basically nobody. And it is opened up once a year for the VFW show because it is in a VFW. And it looks incredible. And I've always wanted to go. And maybe I will do that one day. But yeah, definitely going to be a good time at Pinball Expo, I hope. Emoto and I will both be there.
We'll have a bunch of folks there.
Really?
Deanna and Jess are going too.
Oh yeah. Deanna's going for the tournament. One of our co-workers, another co-worker, Jess, will be going with her girlfriend so they can have a good time and be in the wonderful city of Chicago. This actually will be my first time at Expo as well. Before we did that show with George Gomez and Taylor a couple weeks ago, I was essentially guilted into going to Expo by Emoto. And I'm glad that I decided to go. She's probably rolling her eyes right now. Guilted, yeah, sure. But I was. Peer pressure. Yeah. I think definitely one reason I can't go to the VFW show is it's also on the same day as the same weekend as my wife's birthday. So missing her 30th birthday to go to a pinball show would probably end me in the divorce house, and I wouldn't blame her.
She would want to go to Ann Arbor for the VFW
No,
weekend?
she definitely would not want to go to Ann Arbor for the VFW weekend. Whew, man, these things are so gross. I had to do a little bit of like ball guide disassembly here. I'm gonna leave it. I'll screw this in a little bit, but I'll leave it kind of loosey-goosey because I will need to take it apart again to make sure I get all the dirt around it off, etc. But yeah, so pinball maintenance. Pinball maintenance for anyone who's... Huh?
And there's definitely something gross about peeling off the eyes of old gross row.
Hey man, this is a family-friendly show. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it is a little gross.
A job's a job, man.
It is. No, obviously, so for the people that raided, in the 2 raids we were so gracious to receive, and if any of you have stuck around, you're probably sick in the head like all of us are, but in this show, this stream, we are mostly doing pinball repair, how-tos, etc. This happens to be the unglamorous, dirty, ow, damn it, part of fixing a pinball machine or refurbing a pinball machine is the gross dirty part, where you're peeling all the old nasty stuff off, cleaning it, and then putting it back together. I would always consider the glamorous portion like the getting the electronics to work and the mechanicals and stuff like this. This is just gross. But this is also why people like me and your other local pinball repair folks, they charge a lot of money. This is there is no way to streamline this. This is manual, long form, boring, gross labor. But someone's got to do it, right? And that person just happens to be me today. This game, I don't know the history of this game. Mark told me he bought this from an auction. So that means it probably came from an operator at some point. This game was, well, it was probably, actually, I don't know. It most definitely on location. It had to have been. All games of this era were on location. It is not common to find home use only games from the 90s. A lot of people that are telling you their game is home use only probably are lying to you. You gotta remember these were commercial pieces of equipment before they were toys in your home. But this game is just awfully clean. So it either was polished up before it went to the auction, or maybe it was from someone who had it in their home for a minute. But either way, needs a refurb. All these rubbers are very old. Yuck. And we'll be able to get this thing nice and clean pretty soon. Oh, I am bleeding. I knocked myself on the target. Let me go find something to dab this blood away so I don't get the playfield blood. Sorry. Oh, look at that napkin. I was thinking that we'd be like halfway done cleaning it by now, but all of these rubbers are putting up a bit of a fight. And some of this hardware is also rotating. So one thing we'll want to make sure, especially things that the ball's going to strike, just so I can get this out of my head right now, but when you are removing things and messing with posts and stuff, before we reassemble it totally, tighten the posts. Always be tightening. That is something I say a lot on this show, but it is important. When hardware becomes loose and a ball might strike it, they'll start to rotate or move in an axis that was not intended for the hardware to move. So that being said, if you had a post that went through a playfield like this, and it started to get loose, it would start to rock and wiggle, and it would enlarge the hole, damage the T-nut underneath. You want to make sure all those things are nice and tight to withstand the grunt of the ball that is coming to strike it. That's definitely the most important part. Even when I just go and service a game, if I have to go and service my one of my games at the arcade, or honestly, anytime I service a game in a public location, the last thing to do once maybe you've finished your actual work in the game is to wiggle things. Find those loosey-goosey things, because if you find those things that are starting to go bad now, you'll save yourself headaches down the road when the problem exacerbates itself. Yeah, there you go. Bust out those ABTs. Maybe I should just get a tattoo of a bent screwdriver. Get that ABT lifestyle going. Ugh. These are always fun. When someone decides to, actually, here, I'll use this camera. When someone decides to put a rubber right next to a metal ball guide. I hate this. These things. This is me just being annoyed. It's not really a problem, but you see that guy? I hate getting these things on and off. This one's not so bad because it's not actually striking the metal ball guide, but some of them, it feels like you need to slit the rubber to even slide it on in certain games. That one's not so bad. Watch these things crack off. This is actually kind of satisfying. Look at that. It's such a clean break. It's petrified. So yeah, almost there. And this is great because, again, we are getting a lot of these rubber flakes and chunks off of the game while before we get in there, give it a quick vacuum and give it a good old wipe down with some Novus. I'm hoping that at least an endpoint today would be, at best, get this thing cleaned, novused, and lay down a coat of wax before we hit end stream. That would be in a good spot. This I would kind of consider, when you're cleaning a game too, I like to always like split it up into 2 points. And honestly, I'll probably, if I was doing this in a shop and I wasn't trying to cut it up in like convenient episodic bits, once I got the game totally stripped down, this is when I would go in and make sure it was mechanically sound. I'm not going to put the game back together before we check and make sure it's mechanically sound, because there are instances where you do need to access things top and bottom, and when the game is disassembled, it's so much easier. But I like to consider like parts of fixing or rehabbing, shopping a pinball machine as you've got like a clean phase and a dirty phase. The dirty phase is cleaning, is doing mechanical work, etc. There's nothing worse than getting through everything and thinking you're done, having a nice clean game with these perfect, pristine, spotless white rubbers, and then you realize that, oh crap, this doesn't work. You wash your hands, you start getting in there, and then things get smudgy and nasty. It's no fun. Yeah. I think I'm going to vacuum the top side of the game. This is a little annoying, but it's going to make everything go quick. I'm going to cut my microphone because it's going to be... Actually, where's the vacuum? Dun, dun, dun. Have you seen that gross little shop vac, Steve? It must have grown legs.
Oh, it's got to be around here somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so. OK, Internet, we're going away for 1 second while I do a lap. Where is it?
Right there, at the bottom of the rack.
At the bottom of the rack?
The bottom of the square.
Oh, yeah, right where I left it. Yeah, OK. Perfect. Man, thanks, Steve.
You got it.
All right. Man, I'm dumb. OK. All right, let me cut the mic really quick. I'll give it a really quick vacuum job. Let me show you why what and why I'm vacuuming too, just for giggles. It's common to find crud inside of games like this. Who knows where it comes from? Why are there wood shavings and chips in the back of this game? Who knows? But it's not our job to figure out why. It's our job to get rid of it. So I'm going to silence the mic here. On a gigantic cloud of dust just came out from all orifices of the vacuum. So, nice. Thanks for using our shipping code, Pinball Rob. I'm glad that someone uses our code. You're the best. Daniel, you waxed your fishtails and now it's playing great. Really, every time I wax a game, I always play worse. I kind of like I don't like clean games. I like dirty, grody games because I feel like they play better. But maybe it's because I like things on easy mode. OK, so we've got most of the rubbers off. I'm going to leave this section on for now. I don't want to take it apart and then just, actually, you know what? No, we're not going very far. This building will probably be unoccupied between now and when we come back for the show. What I like to do is I like to remove these things and just put them straight back on, but to heck with it. These things are also unobtainium, aren't they, Steve? In this color.
What's that?
Right? These odd lane dividers in the back of the game here.
Yeah, very hard.
Yeah, there's something that, like Sega, maybe it was just like the 90s, but fluorescent neon-y colors were like totally in.
East did it too.
And Data East did it too? Yeah.
The turtles did it all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the crazy fluorescent posts. Yeah, and there's a lot of these things are just unfortunately like in a perfect world, or in the current world, like could we potentially get these things made? Yes, just like those unobtainium pop bumper caps here. But what the problem is it kind of comes down to like, what do they call it? The economy of scale, right? the cost would not be that bad, but we would end up being stuck with thousands and thousands and thousands of them, right? And there's just not enough games that use these unique colored pieces, and it pains me to say it, but it's just kind of one of those things where just take care of them. I guess that's the best advice I could give you. These are injection molded. So what that means is there's a tool that exists somewhere for this specific sized part, right? And what it is these tools are made of metal, and they have all sorts of cavities that are the exact shape in size as these plastic lane dividers, right? But the thing is, these tools are, there's probably, 50 to 100 of those things into each one of these tools. And as it injects all of that plastic into the tool, they make dozens and dozens of them at a time. So to run that machine for 30 minutes makes sense, make 1,000 of them, but it doesn't make sense or would not be financially feasible to run it twice to get us the 500 that would be a lifetime supply, unfortunately. And who knows where this tool even is. Ooh, no, it's broken. There's a crack. In that case, when you find these things that are slightly cracked like that, you're going to want to try to position them in a place where they won't take a lot of damage. And I think the place that this one was in is perfect. We've got a crack right here. There's a chance that a ball flying around the top of the orbit or something like that on this game would be able to strike them, especially in this position. This position also looks quite safe. This one actually, maybe it would be better to rotate it around 180 degrees because the action from the pop bumper could put stress on this part. But that's another reason, right, to get rid of these incandescent bulbs. Heat from these bulbs makes plastic brittle. We don't like that, especially on rare unobtainium parts. I'm going to have to be extremely careful when reinstalling the rubber rings and taking that rubber ring off to not stress it anymore. Makes me sad. But oh well, it's only pinball. What's up, Rebel Dog? Sorry, that was a long time ago. Daniel, after wax, the game is faster. Yes, and makes me worse. Let's see if I can sneak this last one off underneath this controlled gate here. Whoop. It's an interesting control gate. Oh. Huh, okay. I guess I could peel it off and twist it, huh? You've got this relay coil here. This armature, when the coil is energized, will pull down, and that hits the side of this gate, which will allow the ball to fly all the way through in an orbit. So I like those. I like those as features. It's a simple effect, but it's fun to change a game up like that, I think. Oop, that's the wrong size nut driver. We need a 1/4 inch for this guy. All right. I'm taking these things off right now just so I can clean. We can get in here and do all of the novicing we need to do. And then once we figure out rubbers, we will put these back on. That was a question I posed at the beginning of the chat. The stream was, if we did all super bands on this game, should we do a color? Should we use red super bands perhaps to color match the bathing suits worn by all of these brave lifeguards? Or should we use white ones, or maybe black ones, or some other color? I think blue is a little too on the nose. It's a little too color matchy for me, but I think originally I was intending on using some super bands up here for like the unreachable parts once the ramps go back on. Generally I like to use real rubber for the flippers just because I like the way that feels. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like orange.
Orange? Is it fluorescent enough to?
It's a little bright.
I don't think it would look good on these though.
No?
Maybe.
I say bring some orange next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring C&K. What's up? Yeah, we will not be using green. Sorry. Emoto. Suggestion vetoed. We'll bring an assortment of colors. I think I'll bring like the 2 colors that I think I want, and then we'll bring a couple colors to kind of take a look-see. Palm trees. Where is there a palm? Oh, there's some on the back glass. Okay, let's get to the. I like seaweed, absolutely. I don't know. I'm still thinking actually red. Jess suggested red, and I kind of like the idea of red. It's kind of funny. We'll see. We will be using some super bands, whether it's a full game kit or not, is to be determined. So.
Oh, now Jess suggested red. She's down with red.
Oh yeah, of course. Cool, Moto. Jeez.
Save lives red.
I guess so. Is that why the brave bodyguards or lifeguards are wearing red? I usually like to do my first pass, like in my shop when I used to work in a shop, I would have a rag, a Novus rag that was just absolutely saturated and gross in Novusy. And a lot of the time I would do my first pass on a really dirty game with that gross rag to continue making it gross. And then I would come back in with a cleaner rag in some Novus, and we would polish up the rest of it and then use another clean rag to buff it out. When I clean games, Novus on a rag, it helps you control it. You don't want to throw it right on the game unless it's particularly disgusting. So you don't push the cleaner in places it shouldn't be. There's nothing grosser than a game that's just like caked. All the posts are caked in Novus or whatever gross cleaners people were using back then. It helps you keep the game cleaner, especially around like switch cutouts. Games with star rollovers and stuff like that, you don't want to be pushing a gross glob of cleaner all over the place. So we start with some on the rag, and generally I'll kind of work from the top down. There's no such thing as too much Novus on your rag to an extent. Just make sure you're not, again, like pushing it all over the place. But hide the blood stains. I'm not bleeding anymore. But I tend to feel that Novus works best when you have like a lot of it on a rag. Once you get it like really saturated up and you have a nice, Novusy rag, to me, and in my experience, it just tends to work better that way. I feel like I get some nicer results. But the one important thing about Novus is since it's a polish, you do have to buff it off. Once you do lay down, once you go through and pick up all the dirt and you start, getting it nice and clean and polished up, it does leave a bit of a residue afterwards, right? So that's why you need to come in with that clean rag and polish it all out once you're done. These are the fun bits. I mean, this is where like total game disassembly is great, but again, the game isn't super dirty. Also, like I just applied fresh Novus to my rag. I shouldn't be working in a tight area now where I can splotch it around. So what I might come and do is I, kind of spread around that fresh bit of Novus down here, saturate it into the towel, and now come up to this area where I can control where it's going a little bit better. It's still a little wet because my initial pass was with a fully saturated rag, or a fully applied wet rag.
You gotta stretch.
Stretch?
Stretch.
Ugh. I need to get the regular chat thing back up so I can see all of our requests. I haven't had any hydrates, have I?
No.
Oh, because Colin's not here.
Colin's getting his tips frosted.
Yeah, Colin's going back to the 90s. Where he belongs. No, I'm just kidding. I probably should have gotten some water before I came up here, but it's okay.
Well, Rob just yelled hydrate. I don't think that counts.
Yeah, you got to pay me to hydrate, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
Channel points.
Yeah.
Only currency value points.
Yeah.
So yeah, just again, going around, cleaning, rubbing dirty, nasty dirt and grime off. This game is very clean. That is why this game does not need any more disassembly. It is clean. It is grody, but it is not dirty. There is ball trails. There are piles of dirt in places where the game does not get the sunshine doesn't shine very much, like up here underneath the ramps. But it is super clean, and I don't feel the need to really disassemble it much more. We're just trying to get all the nasty out. We'll do our nice first pass and get the dirt off because, like I said, the next thing we will do is, before we go, hopefully I'll be able to get a coat of wax down on this thing before we kind of do a little bit more mechanical work next week. So a little bit of mechanical work. I mean, I think we might need to redo the flippers on this game, but a lot of it's just going to be reassembly. We need to install some new switches, which is just soldering, but that's not that big of a deal. Definitely need to do some decaling, which is not my favorite thing. Even though I worked as a sign guy for a few years, it still makes me anxious to apply semi-permanent decals to things. Even though I guess I'm pretty good at it, or else Eric would have fired me, I'm pretty sure. That was actually probably actually kind of thinking about it, all of my jobs have been kind of fun. I worked as a sign writer, so I got to do hand-painted signs. That was really fun. We made a lot of carved signs and stuff like that exist on the 3D carved signs. So we did a lot of work at the San Francisco Pier 39 tourist trap. And there was a store that sold shells. So what did they want? They wanted it was called the shell seller. And what did they want? They wanted a giant 3D sculpted shell with their name on it. So that, those sorts of projects were just so fun. I did that for a while before I started working in the motorcycle biz. And then that sucked, so I started doing pinball, and it's been a downward trajectory ever since. No, I'm just kidding. When you're using Novus too, like the way I'm deeming things clean is I am focusing on some dirt and then rubbing said dirt, and then when it goes away, you're done. On some games, especially older games, we're talking like older, worn-out Bally games where a lot of the clear coat may have seen better days, and you need to actually use the polishing qualities of Novus. You do need to put a little bit of elbow grease into it, but this is, again, you're letting the rag do the work. You're letting all of the Novus in the rag clean that dirt up, not your forearm muscles. Do you feel like a shell out? Sometimes. What's up, Fliptronic? How's it going? Did they shell out a lot of money? Yes. Absolutely. Those customers shelled out all sorts of money. But they're beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. Sometimes if you're friends with me on Facebook, I don't use it very often, but sometimes pictures of our completed work will come up in my memories, and I'll repost them just because it's a fun trip down memory lane, that's for sure. And Kyle was an artiste. I'm just an idiot actually with a paintbrush. What's up? Bond on a wand, yeah. The James Bond on the premium is on, his jetpack. And he flies around. It looks like he's on a wand. It's kind of like a wand. It's kind of like Pinball Magic's wand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's totally different, but it's it's Bond on a wand. It rhymes good. Good. No, in fact, it's better than the Pinball Magic wand.
That is like one of the coolest toys in
It really is, but James Bond and a jetpack delivering you a ball is also pretty dang cool. I'm excited now to talk with Gomez again. about, you know, designing that game. Now that we've actually seen it and we can talk about it, it'll be really cool to see some of his inspirations and why this and that. And I think all of you should keep subbing to help us pay for tickets to go to Chicago and do it with George in his living room. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, this is actually coming along swimmingly. This game is not very dirty. Just getting the dirt up is good. And especially now that we'll be getting rid of these black rubbers, this game will end up being clean for a very long time. That is kind of the biggest upside to using synthetic rubbers like the super bands that we will most likely be using on this game, is that they don't put off any nasty dirt. You know, part of the dirt from pinball is dirt from the, you know, the mechanisms coming up into the playfield. But a lot of the dirt, most of the dirt you see in pinball is because of, you know, rubber degrading, rubber breaking down, and rubber sticking into the divots and scratches in a pinball. So getting, changing out your bad rubbers is definitely important for game cleanliness. All right. Let me get here under this little one plastic that's a little dirty, but not so bad for me to necessitate taking the whole game apart. And we've got a Novist up game. So I'm going to buff it out now. I'm going to move all these cameras. And we'll just keep moving along. I'm excited to see what people put in the diver fight cavity in the Pro. Yeah, man, that was super cool to see the George Gomez flashing his sculpted diver toy on our stream the other day, and then seeing where that actually went in the game. These rails are a little rough. Sometimes, you know, look, here's actually another great thing about Novus, is Novus will literally clean anything and polish anything, since it is just ever so microscopically abrasive. Using Novus on some of these wire forms, you know, the ramps and stuff will take away a lot of the dirt and make them shiny. So I think actually one of the first things we did on this game was to clean the wire forms that I did take out. One thing I like to do at this stage too, just like it makes games look so much better, hold the backing blade of a slingshot and then use the Novus to kind of wipe off the dirt and crud off of the face of the blade, and you'll end up with a blade that's like shiny and crudless, and they kind of just, it's those little touches that really make things look nice on these games. I mean, a lot of the time when you are rehabbing a pinball machine, you are literally polishing a turd. And those teeny little things you can do like that make games look so much better. Like looking at this, I see this one post here, the adjustable post for the out lane. There's one on each side. This one's just covered in crap. So I could take it off, or I could see if I can rehab it just by rubbing the Novus soaked towel around it, and it's taking off a lot of the crud. So don't be afraid to use Novus for a multitude of things. Hey, to be honest, Novus is like a wonder cleaner. I'll use it for anything that needs to take off grime and crud. You know, in careful application, you can use it to clean cabinets, to take off a lot of deep set grime and stuff like that. You know, be careful. You know, do at your own risk. Start in a place where it would be inconspicuous if you ruined it, but it's pretty great at cleaning all sorts of stuff. But it is important to buff everything out, especially if you feel it, right? Even with a dirty hand, you can feel it being kind of sticky and a bit of a residue there, but as soon as you get in with your rag, you know, kind of move your head, watch the light hit it, and you can see where the nasty still is. You can feel it leaves just a perfectly smooth, nice surface.
Oh wow, look at all these people talking. What's up, Imrob? Best toothpaste ever. Hey, it could, depending on what kind of teeth you have. Yeah, we're gonna, I don't know. This game's actually, this is gonna come out really nice. We do have a lot of lights out, but we haven't delved in to really see if it's an electronics problem or if it's just simply a burnt out light bulb, which it probably is. See if I can clean up these slingshot switches here a little bit. I see like residue or residual like mill wax or something built up on these switches on the back. Grody. All right, let's continue buffing. And I'll start throwing some LEDs in there. You can feel the resistance of the dried up polish as you're buffing. I can feel the spots where it kind of, you feel a little bit of resistance, a little bit of friction as you're buffing. You can see it. And as you move your head around, it looks good, but then when you catch it in the right light, once you've buffed it out, it's much more brilliant looking. So definitely moving your head as you clean is important. It'll help you catch spots that you missed. Actually, you know what? I think I missed this part of the ball shooter lane here. I got the dolphin, because I remember the dolphin was really grody. I think I just missed this little section. So wipe this clean. All right. Got a nice piece of pop bumper Mylar up there that is still firmly attached. That's great. So this would definitely be the time to get in there and try to repair any bits of damaged Mylar that might exist on the game. All right, I think the one spot that I didn't clean actually was the SPF lanes. So kind of chaotic cleaning here. Clean, buff, clean, buff. All right. Let me get this done. And then we'll check the chat. Oh yeah, and I didn't clean this lane either. Because it's... Oh, really? Interesting. Huh. I'll have to give that a shot. I actually have some, I have like copper. I mean, they're not copper, I don't know, but they're like dark yellow brownish sinks in two of my bathrooms in my house. And you know, my wife was, to get some of the brilliance back, she heard that you can use ketchup, and I'm assuming the acidity in the ketchup is kind of good at bringing back some of that nasty tarnishness, or getting rid of some of that nasty tarnishedness. I wonder if using some Novus 2, something gentle, would make a nice uniform, clean look on that. We'll see. That's interesting, though. I guess if I ever really need to clean a toilet or a bathtub, jump in there with some Novus. Yeah, 3 kind of doesn't have a lot of use in pinball unless you're trying to take out like a really heavy scratch on like a speaker panel or something. But it's useful to have around. Oh, look, and someone just asked that. I don't think so. Novus number 3 is too abrasive. There's like zero situation where you'd need to use that on a game. And there are some games where, like, you know, way back in the day when you couldn't get like domes for Doctor Who, or someone would carve a wonderful word that starts with F or S or something into a speaker panel. Like I've gotten in there with some number 3 Novus to use it before. Like, you know, you just want a wet sand. So you'd start with like a 600 grit sandpaper, wet sand out the expletive, you know, move up for like, or maybe not even 6,000. Start with like an 800 or 1,000 and then keep moving up, 1,000, 1,200, 1,600, 2,000, 2,400. And then once you get to that point, once you've got it all smoothed out, but it's still really cloudy, that's when you jump in with the Novus 3, Novus 2, Novus 1. And that seems to be the only use I've ever found for it in pinball. Novus number 2 is your one-stop shop for everything. Personally, I don't use Novus number 1 ever. Maybe to like clean plastics when they're out of the game, but I don't like getting liquid near my play fields. It's just too hard to control, and it doesn't do enough of a job cleaning. C&K, yeah, my nut drivers are Klein brand. They're my favorite. We will probably, hopefully, be selling them on our website sometime soon. But yeah, they're great. The hollow shaft magnetic ones, most of them you're going to break the magnets out of, so you just kind of have to get sad about it and get frustrated, but live on. But yeah, they're great. Fliptronic, I won't read that out loud, but I'm LOLing and in my head, and I agree. Anyways, let's bust out some wax, I think. And we're going to replace these incorrect clear bumper posts with some beautiful fluorescent ones. I'm going to bust into my traveling tote box here. This has been in my car, so I'm really curious if my wax is just totally melted. Which rag is this? This one smells like wax, so this is definitely my wax rag, I think. Which one's this? Shoot, that smells like wax too. This is dirty, so that's a Novus rag. This is a wax rag. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. It's not so bad. Okay. To wax a pinball machine, usually when I'm cleaning a really dirty game, I prefer to use like a really nappy towel. The nappy towels tends to hold more Novus and wick away more dirt. And then usually I'll use a microfiber to really buff the game out to get it to this point. But always when waxing, I use a nice microfiber towel. We sell them on our website. You can get them all over the place. Ours are extraordinarily cheap. And probably cheaper if you bought them from us with other things than it would be to start your car, drive to the store, and purchase them. So next time you order something, just throw in a couple of them. I think the part number is Pro Cloth. So if you want to be a pro, buy the Pro Cloth. 77 Pro Cloth. I won't say his name. Nope. Wax on, wax off, just like Mr. Miyagi. So usually with wax, you don't. What? I do have a small tool, yeah. Meine kleine Werkzeug. Ta-da-da. Usually when I'm waxing a pinball game, I will get the big areas in the high traffic areas. It can be a little risky to really get in and like clean your in lanes when you've got a lot of wax on your rag. You know, you don't want to build up nastiness inside those cutouts. So normally I'll start with a decent amount of wax, and usually, always, less is more when it comes to wax. So you get a decent amount. This will be more than enough to do the entire game. I'm going to apply it in the center, get it here between the flippers. Nice circular motions is a good way to apply the wax in these larger areas, just like you would on a car. Treat this just like your car. Speaking of which, I need to wax my poor car. I'll get all these nice wide open spots where it's easy to access. And now we've kind of worked most of the actual paste out of the rag. We've still got a few chunks here and there. But now this is a safer time to get in there.
and get in and, kind of get your lanes and stuff like that. Again, you just don't want to force wax all over the place. There's still a nice waxy residue where all the large buildup was before. So now we can get in here and lay down a little bit of wax in these more compact areas so we're not smooshing it all over. I'm going to actually dab in, just wipe in a little bit more. Try not to take any big chunks, but just get the wax built into the cloth a little bit. His big tool is small. Yes, so in German. Oh yeah, the Singapore Grand Prix is this weekend. It's going to be exciting to watch Max win again.
He says Max is going to get his.
Max is going to get what?
His. He said it was exciting to see Djokovic get his. And Max probably get his this week.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so what he's talking about is the driver in the standings right now, the top standings. Mathematically, I don't remember what position he needs to get, but it's very likely that Max Verstappen will win first because he is just a monster. And if he wins first, he will win the championship with still like almost 10 races to go. That's how dominant Red Bull is this year, and it's fantastic to see a bit of a sea change from Mercedes dominating every year for the last bazillion years. So hopefully. Last year was crazy because the actual championship, the championship went down to literally the last race. And then if you bring it down even further, the race was technically not decided until like the last lap because of a interesting call that was made. The safety car ended with just enough time for Max on fresh tires to basically drag race out one lap with Lewis Hamilton, and he won. He won his first championship. It was incredible. I still remember that was a really exciting morning. I'm not a sports guy. I just like racing. I watch a lot of racing, but I swear I turned into like some bonehead football dude, and I like got up and started screaming at my TV like, "Oh my God!" It was. I guess I get it now. And sorry to you people that like football. I just generalized all of you. You're not boneheads. I'm just a jerk. Okay, anyways, now we'll let the wax dry. We'll let that kind of finish up, and yeah. Yeah, no, that's nuts. Okay, Max needs first, and Leclerc or Perez needs fourth or worse. Yeah, well, it's probably unlikely that Max will win this weekend then, because those dudes will also do quite well. But just the fact that mathematically the 2022 championship could be decided in Singapore way before the rest of the races are done is just incredible. Actually, you know what? I'm going to buff out what we have now, and then I'll take these posts out.
Daniel had his Vespa meet last week.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he posted pictures.
Oh, neat. Is he trying to get us to buy Mercedes-Benzes?
Mercedes-Benz for sale. It's a CDI.
I'd love a nice little diesel Mercedes.
Selling that, it's only 14,000 euros.
I can't afford that. It's nice, though.
It's a euro, right? You don't say euros. You say 14,000 euro.
Yeah. Most people would just say 14,000 euro.
Right.
Yeah. They don't put the plural on it, but wrong link. It's okay. Daniel's car shopping. Yeah, I agree with Fliptronic too. If y'all are bored and you want to like halfway understand what I'm talking about, Netflix did a documentary, in air quotes, documentary about F1 that kind of like goes behind the scenes and follows a season. A lot of it is made up, and a lot of it is hyper edited, and a lot of it is kind of fake. But it's a good way to kind of understand a little bit behind the scenes to understand that racing is a little more than just rich dudes jumping into cars and going really fast. It's good though. But yeah. Race cars, good time. Now buff out all this wax. Again, this is another thing where you kind of want to get your head in the game and twist and turn and get different bits of the light to shine to make sure you didn't miss like a big blob or one section of the game that's covered in wax. And sometimes too, it's good to change your position because right when you're buffing off that hardened wax, it will start to gum up your towel and then you're just kind of spreading around gummy wax. So changing the position once or twice is definitely recommended. But this is also why you don't want to like put rubbers on or anything like before you're doing like a full every lane wax or something like that, because you will be pushing a icky dirty rag around and it can foul up your rubbers and stuff.
Man, that is a lot of Vespa.
Was the Vespa meet in Croatia?
Oh, Row Vespa. Split 2022.
All right, so it definitely was in Croatia. That's super cool, man. I wish I still had one of my old scooters. I get depressed every day that I don't have any motorcycles anymore. I'd love to have an old Vespa, but it's just kind of impossible to ride in South Carolina. It's too hot. The average IQ of most people behind the wheel is way too low, and I won't ride a motorcycle or anything without full gear. And when it's 10 bazillion degrees outside, I'd rather not. All right, that's a pretty clean game. That feels good. All right, I'm happy. What does it take to make Kyle happy? Clean Baywatch. All right, I'm gonna push this forward a little bit here, get it to rest in its normal position. Let's change out some of these posts. Actually, really quickly, I'm gonna wash my hands. Got a bunch of icky Novus and wax residue. The sink. I hope y'all can hear me washing my hands right now. All right. I can wipe it on the mustard stain on my pants. All right.
Red Vespa, watch it, 149. I have white tires.
That's super cool. Soap of choice to remove pinball grime. I don't know, dude. I've got recommendations for a lot of things, but not everything. I like that orange stuff.
There he is. This is Daniel.
Let me see. I've seen Daniel posting pictures of the Vespa on his Facebook. Oh, nice. Oh, that looks like a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I mean, Croatia looks like a nice slice of heaven.
No kidding.
It really.
Jeez, what a beautiful spot.
I don't remember what this, yeah, Orange Glow or something, just one of those orange soaps. I really like those ones. Part of my goofiness is I don't like things feeling weird on my hands, if that makes sense. So I don't really like super aggressive soaps that like dry my hands out really hard. And that orange stuff always seems to be pretty gentle. But definitely, like, you know, at the shop, I would always make sure we kept like one or two good like fingernail brushes and just all sorts of brushes to wipe the grime off of our dirty hands. That shop was also unheated and unair conditioned, so in the winter it would get really, really, well, it would get California chilly. And my hands would definitely dry out when they were covered in dirt and Novus and soap and dirt and Novus and soap. It already looks so much cooler with these super sweet posts. I'm so happy they exist. What do you use, Chuck? What kind of soap do you recommend to remove pinball grime?
Just a pumice stone.
You're just pumice stones. I have naturally kind of like dry hands. My hands aren't very like moist. I had a friend that was into pinball, like, and he would come to the shop and but like every time dude would like touch a pinball, it would like rust. I swear to God. It's just so. That's why I'm kind of sensitive to soaps, I feel.
You picked up some orange Pro Clean. Pump struggles to get it out. When it does, it usually blasts onto his shirt.
Isn't that your favorite? This.
500 Vespas.
That's cool.
Yeah, you gotta love the lava.
The,
Yeah, I was in here any love for lava. But luckily Chuck's like, yeah, you gotta follow it up with the lava.
the lava, like those are the lava is the soap bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good. Fliptronic, use Simple Green for cleaning parts. Oh yeah, for sure. Simple Green is a necessity and everyone's staple. It's a like mega cancer death cleaner and degreaser. So it works well, and yeah, it's non-mega cancer. So I appreciate that when it comes to chemical cleaners. There are some plastics I'm going to need to hit with some Novus before we like really finish this, but I'll kind of make that a secondary before we're done sort of a thing. Like the boat launch plastic here, that thing's kind of grody. I need to take this decal off and get it scanned in. That's one decal that we don't have in the decal set for some reason. But yeah, you can see that all the decals on the apron are missing. So I'll need to get those. I need to get real pricing cards and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm really boring. I like pricing cards and not. I mean, this is hilarious. It'll probably go in my room somewhere. But mega faded Baywatch with the Hoff. But that doesn't need to be on my game. Like looking at the lockdown bar receiver too, that's pretty grody, but I'll wipe it and vacuum it and make it look better, but I'm not going to go as far as like taking that off and polishing it. To be honest, like a lot of that stuff doesn't bring me that much joy, especially at the level we're working this project, right? When I refurbished my Xenon by putting a new playfield in it, I did that kind of stuff with my Xenon. I took it apart, I cleaned, I made sure it was nice and shiny and you could lick it and it was not deadly. But this, like, right, we're just trying to get a nice playing game. And to me, it's not worth my time to make sure that the lockdown bar receiver is absolutely spotless. Those are things I just wish I had time to do, but it doesn't bring me joy, so I'm not going to do it. What happened to that lady? Marie Kondo?
Oh yeah, no, everybody found out that she did not bring them joy.
Oh, she didn't bring people joy. So she's just gone. Dang. How the mighty fall sometime, huh? That's nuts. Oh man. Daniel said he had to drive 7 hours from Zagreb to Split for the meet. Wow. Oh man, wait, so
He went 850 kilometers on that Vespa.
you drove the Vespa the whole way. That's awesome.
That's it. That's so cool.
That's super cool. You know, like I'm a long distance motorcycle rider. Like, you know, I'll do 800 miles on my motorcycle in a day. That's no problem. But man, like driving 750 kilometers, 800 or 7 hours on a Vespa. Whew.
They have a good seat.
It probably has a great seat. And let's be honest, like driving 800 miles like to Portland, Oregon from Oakland, California is boring and awful. Taking Highway 5, but I guarantee that driving from Zagreb to the coast on a Vespa is probably the most incredible, beautiful, scenic journey you could take. Oh my God. Little country roads and such. I'd love to do that. I've always wanted to do some like Italian coast or something like that. Travel Apulia on a Vespa or something, or an old Lambretta. Especially if it was a two-stroke. Oh yeah, look at all those wonderful lights. This is great. Oh, y'all can't even see me. Oh, throwing lights in the game. I'm sure this is riveting content. But I guess all you guys sat here and watched me sand once, so whatever.
Can't figure out how it's pronounced.
What?
The name of the town that Dan was talking about that he went to.
Split?
Is it just pronounced Split?
I don't know. In Croatian, probably not. But in my good old California English, we say split.
Probably got some extra consonants and extra syllables.
Probably. What did the Romans call it? That's the most important thing. Can you figure that out, Steve? You can pronounce that in Latin.
That would be what?
Can we find like 150 AD Google Maps? That has to exist. Didn't you send me a website one time that would tell you how long it would take from point A to point B and
Yeah, given the Roman roads, yeah.
find that? All right, there's a couple incandescents underneath here. I think for giggles, I'm just going to leave the one underneath the seagulls back there incandescent. No, I'll take them out. The one thing that's nice about the Williams games of this era is on the WPC games, you can actually remove the general illumination sockets from underneath. So on a Data East game, unfortunately, you need to remove all of the plastics to get to the GI bulbs because they're stapled in. But at this time, with the WPC games, Williams would screw them to the bottom of the playfield. So it was so much easier to do a LED job on a WPC game.
Said it's the second biggest city in Croatia after Zagreb. Brothers get ready to go to Croatia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's going kayaking in the Adriatic.
That sounds cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I went kayaking in Lake Murray a couple weeks ago. I went to my customer's house. I brought my wife along, and she kayaked while I was fixing his pinball games, and when I was done, I went kayaking. It was a good time. And then when I got back, we realized the kayak had a hole in it because it was sinking on my way back in. So he fixed that.
They got kayaks that can fit you?
Yeah.
What?
I'm a sit-in kayak kind of guy. I don't like the kayaks where you sit on top of them. I like the ones where you sit inside.
Yes, inside the kayak, but they make ones where your legs will fit in there?
Yeah, well, you got to bend them a little bit.
Like the whole kayak.
Well, you know, you make do.
I love that Rebel Dog. That's amazing.
That's great.
So are you getting excited for Grave Face Fest yet?
Definitely excited to go to Savannah to see Grave Face Fest 2022. Bunch of good bands going to be there. All of them signed to Grave Face Records. If y'all are interested, just just type in Grave Face Records and you'll find their Bandcamp. You could listen to a lot of the bands that are signed there. I'm excited to see Beachy Head mostly because I really like Ryan and Christian from Slowdive, and the album they put out was just fantastic. I don't know who everyone is coming from Beachy Head. I hope so. But that'll be cool. There's a band that they signed called Basically Nancy, and they're really awesome. It's a Savannah group, a bunch of it's like angry 2022, like soft, loud, soft grunge.
I mean, a lot of it reminds me of like the 90s Britwave stuff.
Like the whole label, or Basically
The
Nancy?
whole label and
Yeah.
Basically Nancy.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
I love their record. They're really good live.
But like not the bad Britwave stuff, like not like Bush,
Yeah, Bush is not the greatest of the Britwave.
but more like what am I thinking? More like Blur.
Yeah. Oh, I just really like bands that follow the that like simple, like soft, loud, soft thing that Nirvana did really well.
Right.
I don't know why, but that's like it just works so well, especially when the music is a bit angry.
I mean, I think a lot of it reminds me of like Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth, yeah, that's a great
Great comparison. Man, what a good band. I'm sad that I didn't get to go to Riot Fest. I've always wanted to go, but this year looked especially cool to see some of my friends sitting there playing Godzilla with Jerry Only from the Misfits, and you know, it's like, wow, cool. I got to talk to Jody about that when I go to Chicago. Like, dang, man, how do you make that happen? That's super rad. 15-minute warning. Oh, okay. I guess I can stop fiddling with the game soon. Look, we actually got to exactly where I wanted to be, so I'm kind of proud of myself. If y'all have any questions, let's answer them now. If not, thanks for joining us while we finagled. Maybe I taught you something about cleaning games. We had some raiders. That's pretty cool. Thank you for raiding our little channel here. Hey, I don't know if this is true, but I think in the press conference they did for James Bond this morning, they said that Jack Danger was going to be playing James Bond tonight. Is that a lie? I don't know. I can text. Oh, I'm not going to text him right now, but that'd be kind of cool to see. I might tune in for that and maybe see you guys in the Dead Flip chat. But you know what? Even if Jack isn't playing, no, okay. I'm going to watch the press release at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. my time. So once I get home, I'll have to check that out. But I'd like to see it. It'd be super neat to see. Even if he's not playing James Bond, if Jack Danger is streaming, you should go in and watch whatever he's playing, because he's a good time. Look how much brighter the damn game is on the camera now after installing those LEDs. That's crazy. They look good. Oh, a Malassi engine. So way back in the day, when I was like a teenager, we used to take like old 70s mopeds, like a real moped, you know, the ones that have pedals to start, 50 cc's and stuff like that. And we used to hot rod the heck out of them. There was a place in San Francisco that sold, it was in San Francisco that sold like some crazy hot rod parts, you know. So we'd take these. I had a Motobacane. That was my favorite. Motobacanes are super fast because they had these variators. So instead of having like a single gear or like a 2-speed gearbox, like it would drive the rear wheel with a belt, and as the variator would spin and move, it would change the diameter of where the belt would be riding to like have a constantly changing gear ratio, right? They were super fast. But I used to have this old Pook moped, you know, from the factory. It was 2 horsepower, 50 cc's, top speed of like 28, 30 miles an hour, maybe 35 if you were going downhill. And man, we put the 70 cc kit on there, ported it, you know, hot rodded carburetors. We made our own like expansion pipes, and I got that thing GPS clocked at like 62 miles an hour. That was so much fun. I remember one night we had a ride, like a dirtbag ride through Oakland, and it was at like 9, 10 o'clock, and someone thought it was a good idea to drive over the Bay Bridge. So there was like 13, 15 of us on these teeny little pedal-started mopeds, just boom, zooming down the Bay Bridge to get to Treasure Island and immediately turn around and come back to Oakland. Those were the days. I miss that. But I wouldn't do that now. I'm too much of a wimp.
So I'm not seeing anybody coming up for us to raid.
There's no one to raid. Oh my goodness.
Dude, we got flannel cats. Says they're doing pinball.
What are they playing?
I don't know. Let's see. It says the broadcaster has intended this for not much. That's Zaxby's commercial.
Oh, a Zaxby's commercial. That's what we all need to see. Hey, y'all watching, does any of you have Zaxby's? It's pretty okay.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, it's something about the breading and maybe the oil. I just can't deal. It's not good.
It's just not good.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'd prefer to go to I like Bojangles, but I still like Popeyes. Popeyes is Rush's. Yeah, we've got a great local fast food place called Rush's that makes some great fried chicken.
Looks like a virtual pinball plant, old school Data East Turtles virtual pinball.
Is Johnny Demonic on? Fliptronic says Johnny Demonic.
Okay.
Zaxby's is expensive for what it is. Yeah, you're probably right.
Demonic TV. Yep, he's live.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll raid Johnny Demonic. A 10-speed Motobacane from the 70s. Yeah, I used to have a Motobacane bicycle too. I like
I like those bikes. It's hard for me to find a bike, to find one that's big enough for my longness, but I used to have a really big Motobacane. I sold that, and then I think I started riding a Peugeot, which is funny because I had all of those brands as mopeds also. I like the Peugeot 103. That was a good moped. Ugh. All right, let me just put a couple screws in this thing to remind myself where some of this stuff went. And then next week, what are we going to do on this game next week? Definitely put new drop targets in. Definitely put new stand-up targets in. And rubbers. We'll definitely be doing some rubbers. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think there's... I mean, then it's just like the slow rebuilding process, right? We definitely need to do some content on flippers. I don't know if we've ever... I don't remember if we've ever done like date...
Are those the stock flippers?
I'm sorry?
It's a pinball pit. Chuck thinks
I think, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's used. Are you using or is the game using? I don't know. I'm not sure which ones are stock. I'm going to assume so. This game isn't like hacked up or modified in any way, so I'm assuming it's probably using the stock coil. Do you have any reasons not to use the stock coils, Chuck, or is it just a question? I don't know. I mean, every like really nice playing Baywatch I've ever played, I've just enjoyed it for what it was. I never knew like if there's any like, you know, necessary mods or anything like that, like use a more powerful coil here or not. But I'm totally willing to try it if you think that it's worth doing. I'm not going to leave the incandescents behind the seagulls. But crap, how are you supposed to get that bulb out?
they use the juiced up ones when you did a Baywatch.
Huh.
Ramps are tough to hit with the stock ones.
Huh. Guns N' Roses, Lord of the Rings, juice.
The ones that Barney's produced.
Yeah.
Those Andrew's made.
All right.
Yeah.
Andrew, are you in the chat? I need some coils. At APB Enterprises, please.
Oh, he's no longer in the chat.
Please. Oh, he's probably making us coils, and that's why he's not here.
You love that picture I sent you, right? Hey, you with the face?
Yeah, that was.
Coils.
I don't want to take that ball guide out. Man, you think it's like, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to stop being lazy, and I'm going to replace these weird incandescent bulbs in the back corner of the game, and then you try to do it, and everything fights against you. But I'm still going to do it. We're this far in, right? Don't give up. I'm not a coward. Or am I? Actually, I probably am a coward. Well, look at this. No one even had any questions. It was just me talking, Steve and I talking music, talking Vespas, mopeds. F1. Got to talk some F1 today. What a great episode.
You ever heard of a Tomos?
Uh-huh. Tomos moped?
Yeah.
Yeah, they still make them.
Says he said there's lots of them in Croatia.
Oh, really?
He said they're the same as Push.
Puk. I don't know if they still make, I mean, Puk mopeds aren't made anymore. But yeah, I thought Tomoses were from like Slovakia or something. But I know that they still made them because there was like places in New Jersey or something that still sold. Oh, Slovenia? Okay. Slovakia, Slovenia, you know, what's the difference? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, show him the color DMD. Daniel wants to see it.
Okay, I'll show it. Ow, God. Hold on. I'm changing this light bulb now, whether it gives me more holes in my hand or not. The color DMD is super cool on this game. I'm trying to use my handy dandy bulb Yankee here to get this
Oh, Bulb Yankee.
God-forsaken evil bulb out of here. Aha! I got you.
Are you using the long one or the short one?
The what?
The long Bulb Yankee or the short Bulb Yankee?
I think this is the short bulb Yankee.
Bulb Yankee, we got son of Bulb Yankee.
Oh. Then I think this is bulb Yankee because I don't think I have son of bulb Yankee.
Bulb Yankee.
Yes, there is a color DMD on Baywatch. And maybe we will show you the installation video one day. But yes, Emoto and I installed it, and I am very grateful. This is what we used our subscriber money on. They surprised me with a beautiful color DMD. So thank you, and Emoto and Steve, for getting this color DMD. So now we'll be able to play Baywatch when it's all done.
Don't start a civil war wrestling with stubborn, recessed miniature lamps that won't burn. Whole bunch. Send them for the book.
That might be some of the best ad copy on the whole website.
So good.
Everyone needs one of those. You know what? Here, you know what I'll do is I'll buy some of those things and I'll bring them to Expo. So if any of y'all are going to Expo, I'll trade you a bulb Yankee for a beer. That sounds reasonable, right? Everyone needs one. You will ask yourself how you've lived so long without owning a bulb Yankee.
But I think roller pinball would rather have hookers and blow. I just let that through.
No, you don't need to buy me that. I'd rather have a beer. Definitely rather just have a beer.
Colin wants to know what's going on.
Um,
Seems like a concerned parent. Colin Emoto's gone. So.
yeah. When Emoto's away, Steve and Kyle will play. I don't know what's going on anymore. We're still kind of talking about pinball, but you know, there's more to life than pinball, like mopeds and scooters and bicycles and what the best soap for your hands is. All right, look at that.
And I think people come here for life lessons.
Life lessons?
Yeah.
Huh.
Not just pinball.
I'm not the right person to be giving out life lessons. You think I can get this one out in less than 5 minutes?
Well, I mean, you got one, so we're good now.
Let's see. Look at these little seagulls. What a great little plastic.
You can see what you're doing.
These are just behind. I was going to leave these incandescents in there, and then I was thinking, no. We're going to remove them. And that, I don't think I can reach this one again, though. I don't
Ramp signal.
Wrap signal? Almost, almost. Hey, technically it's after hours now. I could probably enjoy a beverage while I try to get this dang light bulb out.
Nice. Did you know that Chuck says Bite paid for his pinball machines and house?
Really? That's really awesome.
This is a former bike industry.
I
That kind of pay off, probably guess we work for.
want to I want to be in the bike industry. No, pinball paid for my house, but not my pinball.
Pinball paid for your bikes.
I did too. Yeah, pinball paid for my motorcycles. I paid for most of my bicycles.
I bet you can't pound a beer.
I don't want to pound a beer. I enjoy drinking beer, not pounding beer. Gosh, uncivil. I'm just kidding. It is still kind of Oktoberfest times. I'm going to be making a delicious meal that my German grandmother used to make for me a lot tomorrow. I'm excited for that. You know what? That's the bulb that gets to stay. I give up. I don't give a crap. That one gets to stay. There's one incandescent in this game, and now you all know it, that Kyle is a quitter, an absolute quitter. It's too much work to get that thing out. It's super dumb. Kyle's I'm a sipper, and that's kind of why I like lighter beers, because I'd rather sip multiple lighter beers than like
Rob says he wants a mega pint.
a mega pint. Where do you get a mega pint? I've never been to Expo, so I have no idea what the... Steve's laughing, so I think I missed the joke. Now he's ho-ho-hoing, so now I know I missed the joke. Oh, no. Look, if someone... Actually, you know what? I got to text the guys at Spooky, and I got to see if they can bring me some new Glarus beers. I think I'm going to I think I'm going to check a bag so I can bring home some spotted cows. Or see if I can get one of them to pick me up one of their sours, because I really like their sour beers. Oh, I was trying to read Nightbot's comment. I was like, what the hell are you saying? Oh, Nightbot. All right, cool. We did some work. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, good work. We did something. Hopefully I taught something.
And most importantly, we had fun.
That's right. Always having fun. Look at the color DMD. Da, 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 da. 666, 666. Oh my goodness, this game is possessed by the devil.
6, can't play.
Oh my gosh. Good, it's my kind of game. Yeah, good work, everybody. We did a good job. Moving along. The game's very clean. It's very purdy. We're going to continue purtifying it. Decals, drop targets, reassembly, some plastics. No one told me that they wanted to do any colors. So we're not going to put any rubbers on this game. It's going to be the only rubberless pinball machine. And it's going to be awesome. No, we'll try red. I think we'll try red. That might be fun. And we'll see.
All right. Ready for the raid?
Can you do it?
I can do it.
All right. Yeah, definitely beer time. Definitely beer time. I'm going to have one right now.
Guys, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out. Go say hi to our friend in Portland, Oregon, Mr. Johnny Demonic himself. Steve's going to hit raid. So, bye. Tell me when it raids so that I can end it. All right. So now you have a countdown?
Do we?
Manu also went live. Uh-oh. Well, too bad. We always raid Manu. Thank you for a great time. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think Steve is raiding. Did it raid? It did raid. Okay.